Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the match preview of AC Milan against Udinese, match valid for round 4 of the 2017-2018 Serie A season. Match will be played at the San Siro tomorrow at 3 p.m. Italian time. It's a very important fixture for Milan after a very convincing win on Thursday in the Europa League against Austria Wien. 5-1 after a very disappointing show last weekend against Lazio at the Stadio Olimpico. So I was very glad that Milan, kind of regrouped and were able to get a massive result in their first Europa League group stage match. And of course, a change of formation, as many are probably saying, was the key really to their success on Thursday, even though I do believe that it's a mix of things, and not only the formation. I think also the players that were used in that game over the players that were chosen in the Lazio game could have definitely played a huge factor. For example, we saw AC Silva playing there, Kalinic also paired up with him, and the Çalhanoğlu, of course, the man that made 2 assists on Thursday. But now, once again, we shift our attention to the Serie A. And like I mentioned before, last weekend was far from pretty against Lazio. A real beating for the Rossoneri at the Stadio Olimpico. And it's not something that I want to see ever again for Milan this season. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to lose matches this season anymore, because I'm sure there will be those occasional bumps in the road. And of course, we are playing most weeks at least 2-3 games a week, with the Europa League, and of course later on with the Coppa Italia starting in the later stages of 2017. So, you're gonna definitely need squad rotation, and I understand that at the moment, but I think we should always go ahead and field our strongest fit lineup. And what I mean by this is that, for example, in the game against Lazio, yes, we saw Crotone, a guy that was on fire in the previous games, scored 4 goals, and how many matches he played, I'm not quite sure. But my point is, just because the guy is on form does not mean that you can keep guys like AC Silva on the bench. At the end of the day, we were playing against Lazio, and it's you cannot just base it on form. You cannot just have a guy like Crotone. Yes, he scored goals, so let's play him against Lazio. What if the case was against Juventus? Would Montella, go for it? Would he actually play Crotone there as well? I'm not quite sure, and that is why I believe that Montella needs to make some radical decisions, some very smart decisions based on who's most fit and also based on the opponent. Rotation is very important, as we all know, but Montella needs to play his cards right. And I think going forward, this is exactly what we have to see. AC Silva, so far, he has not played in the Serie A, or at least has not started a match in the Serie A. I believe he did come on against Crotone in the first match of the season, but he never really started a match. And I think Kalinic as well, tomorrow he will be starting. We will be taking a look at the formation in just a few seconds. But, you need to play your best lineup possible. I don't care who we're playing against. Maybe, yes, sometimes when we are facing weaker oppositions, this is when you can throw in your Crotone, your Borini, or whoever it is. But for games where we need to play and we are facing direct competition like we did against Lazio last weekend, is definitely going to be one of our competitors for the season, a team that's going to really challenge us for a spot in Europe. At least that's my opinion. You cannot have guys like Montolivo, Borini, or other guys on the team playing for you. You cannot simply have that. Udinese, on the other hand, they're not having a good season themselves. Well, they won 1 game so far against Genoa, and they lost the other 2. So a bit of a shaky start for the Friulani, and they're definitely going to be looking to add something to this poor start tomorrow. Maybe they could rescue a point at the San Siro. That is definitely their hope. I don't believe it's going to be a straightforward match for Milan, even though, yes, we are at the San Siro, and so far we are unbeaten at the San Siro. We have been playing quite decent beside that game against Cagliari, which I think wasn't the best games, even though we got the win. So, it's not going to be really straightforward, but Milan should definitely still be able to get the job done, especially with this new formation that Montella is currently using, as we saw against Austria Wien. He was mentioning that he wanted to wait until Romagnoli returned. Personally, I don't believe in that, but we will be kind of seeing the same thing tomorrow. Actually, let's take a look at it, because it looks like we will be going with a 3-5-1-1. Not quite sure about this variation. We did see a 3-5-2 against Austria Wien there with Kalinic supporting Andre Silva up front, but now we're seeing something quite different with Suso playing right behind Kalinic, and I guess this is definitely going to leave a lot of room for all the midfielders to move in and attack as well. It's kind of a strategic formation, if you ask me. Definitely Abate, Kessie, Çalhanoğlu, and Ricardo Rodriguez are going to have a lot more space to move up front, and I think this is definitely what Montella is trying to imply with this formation, rather than having, Suso next to Kalinic. And Suso's definitely going to have a more vital role in supplying Kalinic there, and I think he's going to be doing a good job. Bia, his position, I guess, he's going to stay a lot more central than the other midfielders, and he's definitely going to be helping out the defense more there with Musacchio, Bonucci, and Romagnoli all expected to start. But Abate and Ricardo Rodriguez definitely have to move down those flanks and try to hurt Udinese with their crosses and hopefully smart playing. Kessie and Çalhanoğlu, Çalhanoğlu had one of his better games really from the start, since the start of the season, since he's been here, and I really enjoyed seeing what he was capable of last game with 1 goal and 2 assists. Kessie, still a bit of a shaky start for him this season. It's not like he's been horrible or terrible at any sort, but I'm expecting a lot more from Kessie, and I think with time he's going to prove us wrong. So this is the probable starting 11 for Milan tomorrow against Udinese. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as I'll be reading your comments for the next few minutes, and I'm very curious to know what you guys think about the scoreline. You think Milan will continue down that road after that pounding they gave to Austria Wien, or do you think they will once again find a bump in the road like they did against Lazio last weekend in the Serie A? All your thoughts, all your comments, your predictions, and so forth, I want to read them and I want to know them now. So leave them in the comments section and I'll be sure to answer you guys, at least for the most part. Now, let's read some comments here. Edwin says, why not start Andre Silva with Kalinic since it worked so well? That's a very good question, and that's something that I was asking myself as well. I actually watched a post-match interview with Andre Silva following Thursday's win, and so their interviewer asked him, what's it going to take for Montella to actually play in the Serie A? And I think what Montella is currently doing is, trying to integrate him into the league, because Europe, of course, he knows how to play in Europe. He knows how to play internationally. He scores so many goals with Portugal. So I think he's definitely going to be a vital piece for Milan in the Europa League this season. But I would also like to see him in the Serie A, of course. When you score 3 goals in a game and then you get benched, there's question marks all over. So I don't know if it's just, Montella waiting to see Andre Silva integrate in the league, but if you don't give him playing time, how do you even want him to integrate? So we're gonna definitely have to see with that, but I agree with you, Edwin. It worked so well, why not see it again? Bashar says, Gio, if it was up to you, would you start Kalinic or Andre Silva? Well, I would probably start Andre Silva given what he has shown so far. Kalinic, he's expected to, explode at one point. I think it's only his 2nd game that he actually plays for Milan. So, we're going to have to wait and see what Kalinic could do, but I'm sure that within time, he's going to explode as well. Marco Wang, ciao Gio, come va? Very long time, Marco. Everything is good. How about you? Moving on, Mustafa says, Gio, I want to know your opinion. Who should replace the injured Conti? Abate or Calabria or Suso Bonaventura, or the worst option, Lord Borini? I think Milan will win 2-0. Thank you for your comment, Mustafa. And yes, I did not mention about Conti just yet. I was going to mention it later on. When I found out about the news, first of all, yesterday, I was very, very saddened because, Conti is one of those players that I think is and will be the future of Italy, guaranteed. He will be having a very vital role with AC Milan down his career and with the Italian national team as well. And really, it just saddens me that we have lost him already for 6 months at least. And this is not something that we definitely needed at the start of the season. We were just a few games in, and hearing these terrible, terrible news for Conti definitely does not lighten up our days, that's for sure. So I'm very saddened. It sucks for him because, he has a lot to prove this year. He has to guarantee or at least earn a spot for the Italian national team since there is the World Cup next summer. So this is a very important season, not only for Conti, but every other player in the team or in the leagues. This is the season where you have to prove yourself. You have to earn your spot in the national team or whatever case it is. And these long-term injuries definitely don't do any good to any player. So all we could do is definitely hope for a fast recovery, even though we already know about the timeline and how long it's going to take for him to recover from this injury. But this is something that we have to wait and see and hopefully hope for the best. Moving on with some more comments here. Chrissy says, I think Suso replaced Conti going from right wing to right mid. Crotone should play against Benevento and Spal and these teams, says Saeed Abdullah. Moving on, as you can see, my dad is in the back. I don't know why he came in the room during a live stream, but you guys could say hi to him. Tyler says, do you think Calabria should only be a substitute player? I think so as well. I just think that Calabria is one of those guys that shouldn't be starting, but what we saw against Lazio was definitely not convincing. I think that, Calabria needs to integrate once again into the team. He cannot just start games. But, over Abate, I will maybe choose him. Because sometimes he gives that bit more energy. Like I mentioned last game, it could be that, Calabria needs to calm down a bit and just relax with the crossing, because I've seen it over and over. Sometimes, he's not really on his game sometimes. Abate as well, he's not really on his game. That's why an alternative to Conti, it's a very hard decision for me. In the games against tougher teams like Lazio, I would maybe prefer Abate just because of his experience. Maybe teams like Benevento or Spal or lower table teams, I would definitely go in for Calabria, and really I think he would do a decent job. Let's not forget that he did get quite a few assists last season, and I think he's capable of much, much more. Christy says, Gio, what do you think of Inter? Inter start of the season, and can they finish higher than us? Don't even get me started about Inter, because I was actually watching the game this morning against Crotone, and I just felt like punching my TV and breaking everything. How lucky of a goal that was. Forgot the guy's name, but wow, man, how lucky of a goal that was. And I was imagining and having flashbacks of last season of Inter and how many stupid games they won out of nowhere where they don't even play well, and then they get like these lucky rebounds where 5 defenders were there surrounding the player and no one could have kicked the ball out for Crotone. I was like, what the hell was this? Inter won their game. I mean, congrats to them. It's still very early on in the season. 4 wins, don't matter. Let's not forget a few years ago where Inter won, 9 or 10 games in a row in the Serie A. And then look how fast they fell down. So really, guys, it doesn't mean anything. We're still very, very early in the season. These games, yes, at the end of the day, 3 points, 4 points more than the other team could make the difference. But I will not worry at this stage of the game, of the season. Um, Jonathan says, are we able to cope with the Europa League and the Serie A? Do you think Montella can rotate players correctly? Well, I definitely hope so. So far, I liked his decisions in the Europa League, not so much in the Serie A. I understand about the whole rotation thing, but if anything, against Lazio, he should have fielded the team that he did against Austria Wien, and against Austria Wien, he should have maybe fielded some of those players that played against Lazio. Like guys like Montolivo could have played against Austria Wien without a problem, in my opinion. Borini could have played against Austria Wien without a problem. So, I think the rotation is there, but it's still not perfect for what's it called? For Montella. He's still not making the right decisions 24/7. Aniket says, Gio, I think the difference between this season and past seasons will probably be that Milan will win all the matches against smaller teams. That makes us a lot of difference in the standings. I mean, it's still early on, guys. Once again, we cannot come out to conclusions, but I do understand your point there, Aniket. We did see the same thing last season, so obviously, yes, I understand exactly what you mean. Bashar says, is your dad a Milanista too? Of course, the whole family's Milanista, guys. If there was someone in my family that was not, I would kick them out of the house, that's for sure. Yusuf says, Abate with the long hair looks like a retired gay artist. Well, I'm not going to make any comments on that because I don't, make any prejudgments on anyone, so I'm not going to say anything. Who do I think has a better team? I'm not going to answer that question because people are going to say I'm biased. It's still very early on in the season. I think who has the better team, we will only see at the end of the season who that will be. Chrissy says, I hope we win the Europa League. I just hope we go as far as possible in both competitions. I know I read people's comments on a daily basis saying, what do you think we should focus on? Should we focus on in the Serie A or should we focus on the Europa League? I don't think we should just choose one or the other. I think we should just go for both. And like I said, if the rotation is played well, we can, challenge for both. So why not? Pixflix says a 3-5-2 formation is heavenly. It means that Calabria won't be relied upon to defend as much and he can be himself. I thought Montella's hard on for the 4-3-3 would never die. I thought so as well, but I guess he surprised us for once. One or two more questions before I sign off. MacArthur says, have you wished a happy birthday to our president? I didn't even see that, to be honest. Well, happy birthday, dear president. Thank you there, MacArthur. Mustafa says, Joe, do you think Mauri won't get his chance this season? I don't think he will. I really don't think he will. There's too much competition for him to get a chance. Bashar says Bonucci had 100% tackle success rate against Austria Wien with a 3-man defense. I have to say that 3-man defense is working wonders, but more importantly, 5 men in the midfield could be the ultimate key for Milan's success this season. With so much talent at stake in the midfield, I think we shouldn't have any problems going forward. One more questions I'm going to answer. Safe says, would you accept a guy like Icardi coming to Milan? He is unbelievable. That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. It's not like I hate the guy, but if he does come, why not? He's known for his goal scoring in the Serie A. He can score as many goals as possible. And I could just imagine a lethal partnership between him and Angie Silva at our club. But I cannot say that right now. I cannot, make a judgment where I would accept a guy like Icardi. I don't see really a reason why. He didn't really do anything to Milan, but then again, he does play for Inter right now. There's so much negative thoughts about Icardi. His attitude's not the best. We know the whole thing with Maxi Lopez's wife. So, maybe it's not the best thing to take all, that drama into the team and kind of push away these bad boys away from Milan like we saw with other ones such as Niang, Balotelli, and so forth. Annika says, Gio, will Adamo do the post-match review? I'm pretty sure that I will be doing it tomorrow. Adamo has been helping with the channel really a lot, and I do appreciate it so much. The guy is always available during the week, and like you guys mostly know, I'm very busy during the week, and I'm incapable of making match previews and reviews, especially for the Europa League. So I'm very grateful to have Adamo on the team, and I really thank him so much. If you guys aren't not following him on Twitter, make sure you do that on Twitter at Adamo Ritaco. It seems that I'm not convinced with Kalinic. It's not that I'm not convinced. I think he's capable of scoring goals, that's for sure. We have seen it over the years with Fiorentina. It's just that he hasn't been playing a lot, and I think it's going to take him some time to actually adapt to Milan and get playing time. Because, yes, we saw him against Austria Wien, but what do we see him in the Serie A so far? Not too much, so we'll have to wait and see. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's match preview. Don't forget, a game between AC Milan and Udinese will be taking place tomorrow, September 17th at 3 p.m. Italian time at the San Siro. Make sure you subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything going on at the club, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the post-match review. This has been Gio signing off, and as always, Forza Milan.